Have you ever been in a conversation where you just felt completely ignored? Like no matter how insightful or genuinely kind you're being, people just aren't taking you seriously. Honestly, it's a painful yet incredibly relatable experience. But here's the really fascinating part about it. It's not actually about you being uninteresting. It happens because human nature can be highly predictable and, frankly, a little backward. When we're overly available and super eager, people naturally just pull away. Instead, our brains are weirdly wired to crave what seems slightly out of reach, clever, and powerful. And understanding this, well, it's the absolute key to entirely changing how people treat you.
So, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the ultimate psychological weapons used by multi-billion-dollar brands, elite influencers, and even history's greatest leaders. We are fully pulling back the curtain on reverse psychology. Our core mission right now is to uncover the 7 scientific laws of human behavior that are going to instantly boost your social value, command respect, and give you this quiet, unshakable control over literally any room you walk into. And I highly recommend paying close attention here, because if you skip the final rule we're covering today, none of these other tricks will actually work.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering the illusion of value, mastering social leverage, the consistency trap, the power of the herd, and finally, the ultimate mind hack. Basically, this is an escalating journey. We're moving from how others perceive you externally all the way to total internal self-mastery. Starting right off with Section 1, the illusion of value, how people perceive your worth.
You see, our brains are kind of notoriously lazy. We constantly rely on mental shortcuts to figure out what someone or something is worth. Imagine 2 jars of identical chocolates. One is completely overflowing and the other is almost empty. In psychological studies, people overwhelmingly rate the chocolates in the near-empty jar as way higher quality. Why? Well, it's called the scarcity principle. We automatically equate scarcity with premium value. Think about those limited time offer ganners you see online. The second there's a ticking clock, people just panic buy, right?
So here's the reality check for your own life. When you make yourself 100% available to someone, replying instantly, always agreeing, always showing up, you aren't just being nice. You literally become that overflowing jar of cheap chocolate. So if you want to raise your market value, you've got to take action. Stop being a text button. Reduce your availability. Make your presence a premium event by investing in your own life so heavily that others actually have to earn a slot in your schedule.
And this brilliantly illustrates rule number 2, the potato illusion. Okay, picture this. It's 1756, and King Frederick the Great desperately needed to save a starving Prussia by introducing the potato. The problem, the commoners thought it was ugly, dirty, and they completely refused to eat it. So the king pulled off the greatest, and honestly the most hilarious, rebranding campaign in human history. He declared potatoes a royal vegetable, banned commoners from growing them, and actually guarded his royal dirt fields day and night with armed soldiers. Thinking these heavily guarded vegetables must be absolutely priceless, the villagers naturally snuck in, stole them, and planted them. He literally solved a massive famine using pure reverse psychology.
You can absolutely apply this exact historical lesson to your modern life. Treat your time, your boundaries, and your presence like that guarded royal territory. If someone treats you poorly or takes you for granted, calmly show them that you are perfectly capable of walking away. The moment people realize you aren't afraid to lose them, they will suddenly fight to keep you.
Moving right along to Section 2, mastering social leverage. This is all about interacting with others effectively.
All right, let's talk about rule number 3, the law of reciprocity. Consider this classic restaurant tipping study. When a waiter gives customers a single mint with the bill, tips increase by about 3%. Nothing crazy. But if the waiter leaves a mint, walks away, stops, turns back and says, "You know what? For you wonderful people, here's an extra mint," tips skyrocket by a staggering 14%. That is a huge jump for one tiny piece of candy. And it happens because humans absolutely hate feeling like they owe someone a debt. When you do something totally unexpected, people feel this intense psychological pressure to pay you back.
But hey, quick warning here. Do not overgive. If you're constantly showering people with favors, you really risk becoming a people pleaser and losing their respect entirely. The secret is to give strategically, subtly, and then just step back. Allow that other person to feel the natural psychological urge to return the favor on their own terms.
Now, what's really interesting about this next one is that it challenges everything we think about being impressive. Rule number 4, the Pratfall effect. In a famous study by researcher Elliot Aronson, college students listened to audio recordings of people answering trivia questions. One person answered flawlessly. Another answered flawlessly, but then audibly spilled a cup of coffee all over themselves at the very end. Surprisingly, the students rated the clumsy coffee spiller as significantly more likable. It turns out attempting to be a flawless machine actually makes you look rigid, robotic, and ultimately kind of fake.
Seriously, stop trying to be a perfect machine. When you make a minor mistake, just laugh it off. In a world that is completely saturated with fake social media filters and curated perfection, showing your actual human side makes you magnetically relatable. Vulnerability and authenticity are going to draw people to you far more effectively than perfection ever will.
All right, Section 3, the consistency trap, also known as the foot in the door technique.
This is rule number 5, and it completely plays on our subconscious need to align with our own past decisions. Look, if you want someone to agree to a massive favor, you never ask for it up front. Instead, first ask for a tiny, effortless 5-minute favor today. When they do it, their identity subconsciously shifts. They now view themselves as someone who helps you out. So when you ask for that massive favor next week, they are virtually trapped into saying yes, just to stay consistent with their newly formed identity. It is an incredibly powerful psychological cascade.
On to Section 4, the power of the herd. Let's master social proof.
Rule number 6 is social proof, which pretty much shatters the illusion of independent thought. Imagine, you're shopping online, right? You see one product with a 4.8 star rating backed by 10,000 reviews, and another with a mathematically perfect 5-star rating, but it only has 2 reviews. Which one do you actually trust and buy? The 4.8, obviously. A slightly lower rating with massive herd backing is perceived as infinitely more valuable. We instinctively look to the herd to tell us what's safe and what's high quality.
So how do you actually use social proof in your day-to-day life? It's simple, really. Don't beg for validation. Stop chasing people down trying to prove your worth. Instead, focus on building your reputation, hone your skills, and cultivate a really solid circle of people. Let your circle do the talking. Because when the herd is whispering positively about you, your status automatically boosts without you having to say a single word. Let's move to our final stretch and see how this all builds to Section 5, the ultimate mind hack, the reverse action.
Listen, none of the previous tricks we've talked about will work without this final rule. Rule number 7. And it relies on embodiment theory. It's this fascinating psychological feedback loop. Yes, emotions dictate actions, but crucially, and a lot of people miss this, actions directly dictate emotions. Most people live like leaves in the wind, just waiting around to feel motivated or to feel confident before they actually do anything. But high-value individuals, they hack this loop entirely.
You literally have to act like the highest value version of yourself right now. Use reverse psychology on your own brain. When you feel anxious or unmotivated, don't just sit there in it. That is exactly when you take action. Force a smile, stand up tall, put on some uplifting music, and force your body to move. Your brain will automatically catch up and flip your mood within minutes. Stop waiting to feel confident and just start acting confident. The feelings will absolutely follow the action. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Understanding these 7 laws of human nature isn't about some malicious manipulation, not at all. It's about gaining quiet control over your own life. It's about protecting your peace, increasing your value in the eyes of others, and commanding the respect that you truly deserve without ever having to raise your voice.
I want to leave you with one final thought today. Which of these 7 rules are you going to apply in your life starting today? Don't just absorb this information as passive entertainment. Pick one rule, implement it immediately, and just watch how the world reacts to you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and stay high value.